if it worked. It worked. Yay! It worked! Hello, people.
It works.
Welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. Let me just adjust all our microphone stuff because I've not streamed this year yet, and for some reason decided to default everything. Thank you for the subscriptions, Maybonix and Uli. Thank you for the follow, Gamer Studio 21. And glad to see that we've sorted out the Twitter saga. Right. It's Happy New Year. I know it's the 18th, but it's been a while. Okay.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I survived Corona. For those that care, if you don't care, listen to me. It's shit. Apologies for the bad language. Right. Let's go through our normal stuff. We're on social media. It's Corona, you see. We're on social media. If you find us on Twitter or Facebook, we're there. We do have an Instagram account that doesn't get used very often, if at all, at the moment, but it will be this year because we got stuff and we can go outside and be with people. So I'll take photos and I'll stick them on Instagram. So look out for all that stuff. We got a Discord. All these things are going to pop up in chat because my wonderful assistant, Mel. I nearly said Melanie then, but I didn't know he'd react to it and stab me. So I didn't. I'm just saying. So that's social media stuff. You can check us out on all the normal stuff. Just put Heavyweight Gaming, you should find us. There's a YouTube channel, which is basically my storage for all the stuff we do on Twitter, but on Twitch even. So if you fancy looking through all the other previous 57 sessions, because this is session 58 of a D&D campaign, kids. Session 58. I mean, what is that? Living the dream. Stop telling the child off while I'm live on the internet. Right? Support services about
DM them on Twitter if you can.
Yeah, check out the socials together on Twitter if you can. You will have to follow to be able to DM, apparently. This I did not know. My apologies. In with it. Oh, ribbing already. So, we'll go through sponsors first. As you can see, Loki Battle Mats. If you're into RPGs and tabletops and stuff like this, you probably have heard of Loki Battle Mats. They've done 3 or 4 very successful Kickstarters. They've won awards and such for their artwork and their map making that they do. They do big books of flip out maps.
They're so cool.
Badass.
Cool.
And they're quite big, like A3, A2, I think it is. They're massive. You flip out on the table and you've got dungeons, you've got taverns, you've got towns, you've got forests, you've got ritual circles, mountains, sewers, all this really, really cool stuff. Their recent Kickstarters all have been about sci-fi, so big spaceships and asteroids and stuff like this. What? Oh no, what?
You lagged.
You keep doing that in the middle of a sentence.
I actually thought you'd froze.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, hopefully.
Sorry.
It's gonna be a good stream, guys. I feel it in my bones.
It's first one, alright? It's first one, leave me alone. So go check out Loki Battle Mats. Follow the link in the chat. Coyote Grey, who is responsible for the artwork that you should have seen on the stream starting, and with a thank you at the end and at the break time, and I believe, no, I haven't got it on here, but I'm going to add it right now. Oh yeah, because it's so cool. So Coyote Grey, if you go to Roll20 Market and just type in Coyote Grey, you'll get to see their tokens that they do. If you can see, look at that, kids. So Coyote Grey has done that for us for the show. So yeah. So go to Roll20, look at Coyote Grey. They do chibi tokens. I'm a big fan of chibi artwork, and Coyote Grey's tokens, literally, I fell in love with them first time I seen them, so I bought them all and I use them on our Roll20 stuff. Even the Cyberpunk ones that we run every now and then, they're really cool artwork. He's also done chibi tokens for each of the characters that you'll get to see when we do Roll20, and I'll probably do some later on, so they'll do a little slideshow so you get to see them all. But they're really cool as well. So check out Coyote Grey on Roll20. You can download the tokens and use them on your other virtual tabletops. Same with Loki Battle Mats. They do all digital versions of their Battle Mats. So you can use them on your Roll20s, your Foundry. So what's D&D then? Wow, Gamer Studio. We'll get to that in a sec. What else we got? We're not sponsored by Syrinscape, but if you want music and ambience in your games, go check out Syrinscape. You can either have them playing out of your tablet of choice or a Bluetooth device or whatever, and it'll give you a bit of ambience for your game. If you play online like we do, there's an online player where all your players download the player. The GM or the person that owns the account can play music and it'll go through their app into their lovely surroundings, and they can have it as loud or as quiet as they want. So go check out Syrinscape. Not an official sponsor. Ashana, official sponsor. Amazing Glasscrafter, probably streaming tonight. If she is, we'll end up raiding her at the end of the session. If not, we won't. But yeah, if you go check her out on Instagram and on Twitch and on Twitter, all under the same name, Ashana. She's a glass crafter and a nerd, which is cool. So, go check her out. She's super zen. I've known her a long time now, and I'm really, really happy she still sponsors the show. So go check her out. She's in America, so like, you know, don't be expecting to get any stuff sent to you immediately. But she's absolutely amazing to watch and interact with while she's doing the glass craft. Ruffworx Creative is the over 18 sponsor. Go to Facebook, check out their wood and leatherwork. He never uses his Facebook page, but if you check out some of the photos on there, or if you go to the Heavyweight Gaming Facebook page and check out some of our photos, you'll get to see some of the stuff he's made, from leather cuffs to the most beautiful Dungeon Master screen I've ever seen in my life, which are photos up on the Heavyweight Facebook, which will be getting used hopefully in a few sessions this year.
I was going to say, are we going to get to see that this year?
Yeah.
Yes. I just need a bigger table that I can put it on.
All I can hear is the Magic Mike music when we talk about Ruffworx. I don't know why.
Look, right? It was one night, all right? I'm totally getting to do Magic Mike. He's just, for those who care, he's just done a fan-made movie for Valhalla, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where he gets to play a Viking. And his war cry was gravy, so I was very, very happy with the man. But yeah, go check out Ruffworx Creative if you like woodwork and leatherwork. One-of-a-kind stuff, bare hands, blood, sweat and tears. What a man. Cover him in oil and slap me. If you like D&D 5th Ed source material, you can go to DM's Guild. Nope. Yep. Nope, not DM's Guild. You can go to DM's Guild. Look at that. The first major supplement by HWG for D&D 5th Ed has arrived a while ago. Tasha's heavier crockpot of bits and bobs is 81 pages of subclasses, spells, artwork, and everything TTRPG player wants. Find it here for $9.95 on DM's Guild. And then I'm not reading the link out. But yeah, go check that out. It's super cool, full of all D&D source material. 80 new spells, because why wouldn't you put 80 new spells in the first source book out there? It's just basically a spell on every page. That's why there's 81 pages. So, but you'll love it. There's some cool artwork in there from our nerdy friends that are far more talented than I at the old artistic creations. I can write good stuff. That's a lie. So yeah, so go check that out. Where is the monkey face? What's that for? Is that rolls?
Yeah.
200 bits. I need my monkey face. 200 bits. There we go.
There it is.
Do you feel sorry for the adventurers? Donate 200 bits / cheers to give the party a reroll. Monkey face.
Monkey face.
I'm going to edit that.
They can't be used on the DM or death saving throws. They can only hold 5 at a time and they don't roll over to the following week. You want my bits? I'm not answering that game of studio until after 9 o'clock. So, did I get everything? Is that good? Are we good? Mel's nodding. Cool, I'm going with that. 37 minutes and I'll ask again. Cool. Right. Recap. Oh, I'm going to play some music through Syrinscape. Din din din. He says, with great confidence. Also, chat, the music for Syrinscape is on the same mixer as the players. So if it gets really loud, let me know. If you can't hear it, let me know, and I'll try and find a happy medium. If not, go to YouTube and put rain. Yeah.
Rain.
So, right. Currently, or recently, or last time on, this lovely bunch of coconuts were at the Sovereign Rabbit. I can't believe I remember that. In Ravenholm, where they took part in a very high-ranking meeting of the nation of Ravenholm. Many things were discussed, such as the demons / devils, fiends, that have breached the ivory wall on the eastern side of Ravenholm and are now in the province of the House of Eagles. But at a standoff, they haven't pushed any further in. They've simply requested that the debt of the king is paid, and they're here to collect it. They discussed whether or not the Ulrich Steinson, who led a war against the Copper Forest, the Fae of the Copper Forest, and started a civil war, was to be executed or not. Much happened. Go watch it in episode 56, 5, 6 and 7 or something, but a lot happened. A lot went on. and we managed to stream 52 people on a Zoom call twice. So, what was discussed and what came out of it was Ulrich Steinson of the House of the Red Lady and Reisenharten.
Bless you.
Honest, I wrote this.
Honestly, you're NPC.
Of the,
fine.
they're all called Bob, Ted, and Steve on my document. Of the House of Lilies, their souls will be sacrificed to empower the Ivory Wall again, as it is a magical wall powered by souls. So they'll be doing that. The fiends will not be paid, from what we are told. They will be told to get shifted on, and there will be a fight. And there will be many of the NPCs mentioned in previous sessions turning up to fight said fiends. The Copper Forest itself was destroyed, at least within the Fair Realm. Toodles, who became the new Jesuit, so the Archfey, the new Archfey of Autumn, and the Elven Flutist. The new Archfey of Autumn is going to regrow the Copper Forest in the material realm. So the Copper Forest itself will intermingle and become one with the material realm forests of Ravenholm. The starting point of that is a magical glade that is owned by the Jesuit, and a couple of saplings were put in a small area to begin said growth. Two of the first seeds of Colossus, Orcarian and Ashaldria, intertwined to become the first tree of the new Copper Forest. There has been resurrections of friends. There have been commissions of new armour and such for different paths that some of the characters themselves have taken. We ended the last session with you all arriving in the glade and at the cabin in the woods with Toodles, the Jesuit. You watched as Akarian and Asaldria, in a almost scene of etherealness, give their essence to the renewal of the Copper Forest. There are a couple of known faces there. Young Gideon, and a few of the local fae of the forest that you may or may not have passed during your travels. That is loud. For me, I don't know about yourselves. You entered the cabin in the woods to eat some spice stew and just chill out for a moment. Toodles has offered that with her Tadloud, yeah, with her archfey powers, to almost bubble a moment in time for yourselves, or slow it down to give you enough time to recuperate, to rest, take a breath, as the last 57 sessions have been rather forward momentum. The spell that you believe the Jesuit has cast is happening as we speak. So there is a moment that you all have at least what will feel like a day to yourselves, but only a passing breath of time in the material realm. You're all in the cabin. There is a light rain, and somewhere in this new forest is an elf on a flute who may be playing every now and then.
I think it's Toodles.
Are they not sat on the roof? Is Toodles not about to just like bang on the ceiling with a broom, like keep it down up
Keep it down.
See, I was imagining it being that elf who had tried to lead us through when we first encountered Ulrich.
The worst tracker in the world. I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think they went this way. They didn't, mate. We can see them over there. So,
Bless his soul.
3, 2, 1. You are in the cabin. It's warm, spicy in the air. Toodles just sitting. And young Gideon serving food and such.
We're really good at this talking.
Yeah. Well, is the first time where we haven't all had to be like, quick, stop something. So it's like, yeah, Ruby.
Roll a dice. Sapphire excuses themselves from the cabin. As they do so, you see a glowing blue light at the centre of Sapphire's chest. It's not like bright spotlight in your face, get out of the way. It's just a hue of light. We'll go with that as real English.
A black cape figure swoops down from the sky.
Gone.
And with Sapphire seeing that light, there is a look of recognition, and Sapphire leaves the cabin.
He's getting a call.
If you see them out in the forest, if you leave the cabin, you will see them off to one side, surrounded with his incense and candles and such.
Doing a meditation.
With a sock on the door.
Oh. Well then.
It's a proper meditation.
Right, is it Sensei Rin or Senpai Rin?
Well, if you interrupt, you'll find out. Ask me after 9 o'clock.
Oh no. Anyway.
That's half an hour to kill, guys.
Ruby is quiet. Whether that's uncharacteristic or not, I suppose. Depends. It's not unlike Ruby to eat without talking and to just vibe. But it's not the usual chilled out. I don't have anything to say, so I'm just going to sit here and enjoy this food silence. It's
eating as a task as opposed to
assuming that Xandria is sat next to Kess, which, let's be honest, probably true. Xandria is just kind of gonna lean her head on Kess's shoulder and close her eyes for a moment, and then
he'll get kind of like a head bob, and he'll continue eating
very quietly. Probably like anyone who's immediately close probably hears, but it's just more for Kess and Drea. Drea just says very quietly, "I want to go home."
He'll just sigh slowly. I understand, but I'm not sure if we can.
I don't see anything stopping us. Nothing has stopped us before.
I still have responsibility here.
No, you don't. Kess, we failed what we came here to do. The Copper Forest isn't... It's not part of the Fey Realms anymore.
They are still our people, and I still carry the lance. There's still responsibility here.
The lance can find a new lance lord. I know from the fact that Whisper himself mentioned that staying away from the forest any longer will just mean that it finds a new host. We can go. It will find somebody else. We don't have to have this responsibility.
It was given to us. We need to follow it through.
We can't follow through on something that isn't what we agreed to, Kess.
We didn't know what we agreed to. We agreed that we would come and we would help. There was never fine print. There was never the outline of a plan. We came here to do what we were told to when we arrived, and that's what I've tried to do since we stepped foot on this miserable spit of land.
And what about Summer, Kess? What about our actual family?
they knew as well as we did that the likelihood of us coming back from this was slim.
This absolutely sucks.
I'm so tired, but we don't have another option. Not one that I see.
Toodles makes eye contact with Harry just as you're speaking about this specific subject, and then carries on sipping at their spiced tea.
We need to keep going forward.
Fine. If you won't come home, then I guess we stay here in this godforsaken nation. But the minute, Kess, that we can move away from this place and return to the deserts, I will drag you by your hair.
I do not doubt that. But there's still work here to be done. There's still... The forest isn't large, but, well, there's still a Jesuit. There's still someone that we can be helping.
Gideon pipes up. I'll help.
And you'll do wonderfully.
There's more of us. Not all don't like it here. Some of the Fae and myself and a couple of the folk from our world, and he kind of gestures at like Harry. We're gonna form a patrol, and he's dead proud, and he kind of stands up, shoulders back. We're gonna call them the Copper Lances, in honour of Killin and yourself, and Xandria.
Lane would have liked that, I think.
You've really come far, Gaiden.
Well, when you die, you learn some stuff. And he sort of just stands there and puts a smile on his face. He's not overly confident about his sense of humour in this moment.
Oh god, when Gaiden mentions when you die, Xandria just kind of like goes... Which I imagine Kess feels, since, you know, she's pretty much leaning on him at this point, so...
I agree. You've rolled well with the punches.
Why can't you go home?
There's still things that need to be done here, Gaiden.
Doesn't mean you can't go home. You can always come back.
If I was to return home to the realm of Summergeddon, I do not think I would return. Although when saying that, I'm not certain that Malika will take me back after my unfortunate passing.
Gideon looks confused at the mention of Malika. However, the Jesuit. Summer is always full of passion and pride. I don't think Malika will turn one such away as yourself so easily. You were her herald for a moment, and carried the lance of autumn. Two blessings upon you that not many Fae get to walk with.
Yes, and I can fully see why now. It's difficult having both blessings. I should never have taken the lance up.
I cannot comment. I was unaware that my own story would take me so deeply into autumn. I thought just to make merry in the in the tavern and sing songs, but here we are. The lance doesn't have to remain with your family, and nor do you have to keep it, Kess, whether it be out of duty. There is no magical binding to you. If you wish to release it, you could, and I will not ask you to release it. The release has to be of your own choice.
I don't think any of us are where we thought we would be.
I am curious, though, about the lance and the powers that it held or still holds. When I held it and I was away from the Copper Forest, its powers diminished because I wasn't within the realms of the Copper Forest. Now that the Copper Forest is part of Ravenholm and not its own separate realm, do the powers of the lance still hold true, or have they changed?
With yourself, it is because you are of summer. Kesfion's presence here in autumn is not recognised as strongly in summer as yourself. For what reasons, I do not know. Inside check from Kess and Zandria. And Ari.
Harry knows. She told him.
Gonna roll the
I'll
new
roll
shoe
anyway.
dice. Let's see how the rhyme of the Frost Maiden do. Ooh, the rhyme of the Frost Maiden doeth well.
Doeth well, eh?
Doeth well.
Doeth well.
Insight. 21 on insight.
Cool.
From rhyme. Rhymey.
19.
17, our old shit.
17's not a shit
So-
roll.
Yeah, that's pretty
I
good.
rolled 9.
So Ari, you just missed, however you do know anyway. Whereas Kess, you're bang on, and Zandria, yeah. Regarding Kesfion's tie to summer, Toodles ain't lying, but they are holding back. The Copper Forest still needs protectors, and Gideon and the Copper Lances, and there's a smile on her satire face. It is a continued story. 58 sessions of continued story. The lance itself, there are several weapons made for the seasons, and the lance being the one of autumn. Killane was the first to wield the lance. Its ties to autumn and our people are complicated and entwined in magic that is well older than I, and the knowledge of the Jesuit is slowly filling my presence. But it is just a magical weapon at the end of the day that if I need to, I can manipulate, and especially now that, as you say, Zandria, the fair wild, the fair realm that is the Copper Forest is no longer, and then we will create something just as magical and wonderful in the material realm that is here in Ravenholm. I can do what I wish with the lance. However, it does represent the protection of the Copper Forest, and who wields it is the protector, or at least leads in the protection of our realm, wherever it may be. If Kess chooses to,
Sorry.
if Kess, that's your fault, Ruby. If Kess so chooses to continue to be the Lance Lord, the power in the lance will remain, and it will be Kesfion's to wield. If Kesfion sees fit to release the Lance Lord to another, I will see that it is taken advantage of for best of the Copper Forest, whether it be manipulated into something else or stay as it is. But it is the Lance Lord's choice. And your speak of home, I can send any of you anywhere in the world as long as there is a tree there. Perks of the job. And she kind of just raises her cup. I can also recall you if you just wish a fleeting visit. Although, as Andrea has said, returning to summer might be difficult to then leave again. The Copper Forest owes you a lot, regardless of the outcome of the war. It could have been far worse. This cabin we sit in now could have been taken. The glade outside, not possible. There could have been a lot more.
Sandria just looks at Kess.
I need to have a moment. And he'll just kind of like put together sort of his bowl and stuff that he's been using, kind of pop it over to kind of sort of kitchenette bit, and just kind of take a step outside.
When you step outside, you instantly get that freshness of autumn, which you've experienced many times. It is more real and less of the supernatural impact that you have been in your Fae realms. And you look around and you see redcaps and pixies and nixies and nymphs and various flavours of fairies and fae that are in between the trees and flying around in the treetops and such of the real forest, of the material forest. And you can see very much, very, very tiny pixie fairy glowing orbs around the intertwined oak and ash tree sapling that is currently growing. Excuse me. Sat on a stump next to this tree is a very, very old satyr. Very old, very recognisable. Only moments ago did you see them fade into nothingness and become a tree. Yet, there they sit, Akarian, old oak, just sat there next to his tree. There are a few humans that are also here, tending the various areas around, doing gardening duties. It is a surreal and to some a peaceful scene to see fae and human alike mixing and gardening and doing the things that autumn should be doing and getting ready for the fall. Others might disagree, but that's the scene before you.
He'll kind of take in the scene, and then kind of meander over to where this kind of visage of old oak and the new tree is kind of growing.
For a moment, old oak doesn't react. He's kind of just staring at the tree in front of him and tussling his hoofs, so just kicking bits of mulch and leaf at the bottom. And you can see him resting on his oak staff, just sort of grumbling and mumbling to himself. And then he looks up. Kesvion, Lancelot.
Possibly.
Sit. And he just gestures to a stump that wasn't there before.
I'll take the seat.
Being this close to him, you do feel that he isn't there. Like you feel if you reached out, you'd pass through.
Yeah.
He's not quite glowing blue with Yoda next to him, but he's definitely in an ethereal presence. How's Smiler?
Keeping everyone on their toes.
Good.
But she's back with us.
I felt when she came into the glade. I wasn't happy that she'd died, lad. That one's a long way to go yet.
She won't go down that easy.
Not what you lot about, anyway. How's Pigeon doing?
Much like the rest of us, I think he's just trying to keep his head on his shoulders. There was a bit of a to-do up at the capital, so...
More diplomacy.
You know we're so good at it.
You know, I'll never forgive you lot for dragging me into that. Fun. But it got a bit violent. What's the cat doing? You just see Sapphire full on an inch levitating off the floor.
And that is Kess's response, is just... They shit.
Elves. Never had time for them.
There's a time and a place for everything, but damned if I know what it is half the time.
What's up with you, guess?
Just at a loss.
What you lost? I can make your sister run into a tree again if you want.
I don't think that'll help with the regrowth of the forest somehow.
No, but I'll laugh my horns off.
There's a lot of big decisions, and I do not feel like I should be the person making any of them. And the outcomes are all
massive. Complicated.
Yeah. Pretty massive. I'm good at following. I can follow an order to the letter for as long as needs be.
So what order are you currently following?
The same one that we got when we left our family in the desert.
Which is?
Do everything you can to help the Copper Forest.
Well, you buggered that up, didn't you? And he kind of looks around the place. But I think
Yep.
we all did, lad.
We failed you massively.
It's not how I see it.
It's how I see it. It's how my sister sees it. We
What's-
should have stayed. We shouldn't have gone to the wall when we did. But it's...
You made a decision.
Yeah. And I'm not sure it was the right one.
What happens if you'd have stayed? You go swinging into Ulrich. Fight these fair-killing wizards or whatever they call themselves back up there. Die for the cause. Is that a better decision?
No.
You both die. No one's bringing each other back. You've died, you've been brought back. Your sister's died, she's been brought back. You both die, ain't no one bringing you back. And then for a moment, Akari looks out. I don't know what I'm talking about half the time. Look at this tree in front of you. What do you see?
2 trees intertwined.
The start of what?
Out of...
The start of. What is this the start of? Nods at the trees again.
Rebuilding. Autumn. I You
really are bad at this, I guess.
Yes, I'm not good at the. Give me a direction and I'll run in it. But I don't get this bit. I don't.
Me and Ashaldria, and he puts his hand on the bark of the tree. We're the first seeds, growth. This is the first tree of the new copper forest. One in this, I can't really smell it at the moment, but one in this realm. Yeah, nothing was going to stop that. The forest should have died generations ago. It's autumn. We're here for the fall. Every cycle, whether it be a human year or a full, whatever we call it these days. Autumn is the fall. Your sister, peak, summer, pride, passion, roaring fire. The height of our people. Winter. Well, winter will do its job. But he can't do its job if he's held back. Ulrich's a bastard, and if I ever get the opportunity to face him one-on-one, I'll get my arse handed to me, but I'll give him a good go. But he had to fall. You did what Kalain asked you to do. You did what I asked Kalain to ask you to do. The copper forest will regrow and be stronger. We've even got that lot on board now. And he nods to some of the humans. Do you know that lot have not battered a single eyelid that they're working with pixies and redcaps? It's like they've been neighbours for years. Maybe it should have been like that back in the day. Maybe not.
There is hope, but I'm not sure if I'm as ready as Jezreet is to forgive the loss of life.
There's no forgiveness. It's just accepting the situation we're in, lad. If we forgive him or we don't forgive him, nothing changes. Mark my words, Toodles will be harbouring a bit of a flame that'll build. And no doubt will come round again, where there's conflict. But right now, Jezza, they're doing what's best for the forest. Not what's best for forgiveness or diplomacy or courts, whatever these humans hold. Forest needs to regrow. Jezza will regrow it. Yeah, somebody's clicking. My bad, Mabonix. It's a carrion, alright. Playing with an acorn. Shut up. You don't have to forgive, Cass. You just have to accept. You think them redcaps don't want to go over and stomp all over those humans? Most of them. I'd be wagered they would. Might be the odd few that are alright for now. And I doubt all the humans forgive anything we've done to them over the last few decades. There's a reason they fear us. Again, it's not about forgiveness. You just got to accept the situation. Tell you what I am going to miss. That bloody spiced tea.
I'm sure you'll have it again.
It's not easy drinking tea as a tree. I need you to give this to Ruby. And he kind of looks off into the distance. And he passes you his staff. She'll know what to do with it.
I'll make sure it gets to her safely.
There is a very obvious moment where the staff becomes material in your hand as he passes it. So what are you doing next? Going home? Seeing summer?
I don't know, but you've given me a lot of food for thought.
Well, I don't have much time, but it's been a pleasure making your acquaintance, lad.
It's been an honour, old dog.
And he just carries on looking at the tree, unless you interrupt anymore.
No, he'll head back to the kind of cottage with the staff.
Cool. So Sapphire, no, I was only joking. Explodes into blue fire. While Kess has been out and about, have you three been interacting or anything?
Ruby's been continued to eat silently, and it's been. She'll give answers, but this is the one word, monosyllabic. If I'm eating, I don't have to have a conversation with people. I am a teenager. Do not interact with me. Yeah, it's clear she's not feeling chatty, but she's not going to be rude, especially to the host.
I will kind of narrow his eyes at her and just be like, he'll give it like 10 minutes or something of like just being super teenagery. Then I'll just kind of like look at her and just be like, what's wrong? What's up, Ruby?
Do you remember the last time we were here? The Copper Forest.
Yeah.
And we saw the pillars.
Yes.
You remember I said we'd have to find the person who'd cast the spell to end it?
Yeah.
Do you remember what Cass said?
Not offhand.
He said we wouldn't leave a piece of them.
Okay. They were in that meeting.
That is it. That seems to be the end of the train of thought there.
Yeah. Like, I know they were in that meeting. And so were a lot of other people. Maybe there's a time and a place. And unfortunately, those kind of meetings are horrendous. Because, trust me, I know. I've grown up around that kind of stuff. Or at least I did. And there's a reason I broke it off. That kind of stuff. There's such a dance to it. But sometimes you just gotta dance that dance to get your point across. Doesn't mean to say that there aren't certain people, not just that person either, that have royally pissed me off. But you've got to take your time with these things and speak when it's the right moment. I kind of like look at her like a bit kind of closer and just be like, do you get it?
No. And I won't. To sit in your fancy hall while armies camp on your doorstep is she
Could
says
you
the
not-
word in halfling, Toodles will understand it as basically unfathomable, which is slightly outside of Ruby's common, like vocabulary in common, but yeah.
Toodles just sips with a smile to the halfling. Or the use of halfling. We'll let this halfling in here.
There's a certain point to them hearing every side. And granted, it's a lot of political bullshit, and I will agree with you on that. But to the same token, did you not think Soul Taker felt the same way? Did you not think Garena felt the same way?
Don't know. It doesn't much concern me.
You weren't in there long enough. Like they agreed with us, and you know, Soul Taker just wanted to take action, and I agree with her. But there's a certain method to it being done, and I know it's dumb. I've grown up with this crap, but you kind of get to understand it a little bit.
I'm too young and too
No.
stupid to understand it.
Not at all.
It was clear.
No, not at all.
Ravenholm is very different than the Torn Highlands, than Viconia. They do politics completely different to how the rest of the world will do their politics. It's not a case of you being too young or too dumb to understand it, Ruby. It is simply that you did not grow up with it, much like myself and Kesvion did not grow up with it. We didn't understand.
I know exactly how stupid I am or am not. I also know exactly what every person in that room thought of me.
Ruby, there's a reason why you're here with us. Could anyone else have kept us alive? Like, honestly.
Oh, you'd have been dead by lunchtime.
Exactly. So, who's useless now?
Ruby kind of looks at Toodles like, in a kind of, am I speaking common? Like
Toodles is enjoying the moment, drinking her tea, fully aware of the.
But it's just that kind of the look that Ruby sometimes shares with Xandri of the, are you saying this shit? It's the, like. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, say what you want to say. Like,
I know what I am. I know who I am. I don't see why I love you, but your country is the worst, and I have no time for any of the rest of them.
I mean,
agree with you there,
I agree. Why do you think I'm here? And not over there, politicking more. I hate all that crap. There's a reason I walked away from it. Do you really think I wanted to inherit that position of basically that would be my life?
Gideon
No.
then says to you, Harry, so you're leaving?
I don't know yet.
And he kind of looks back and goes back to the tea making. And you see him just playing with the dagger that were given to him.
I don't know what to do. But I walked away from that for a reason. And I came back very reluctantly. Trust me. It's just like Xandria said, we've all got different talents, different skills. It's something I understood in that moment, and that doesn't make me a better person. It just means I grew up with that crap. And if I went to the Towing Highlands with you, do you really think I'd understand exactly what was going on? No. Hell, I wouldn't be able to speak the language, if not anything else.
Most people speak common, but oh, I would love to see you work in a yard.
It'd be like a chuffing Vidal Sassoon advert. Or Diet Coke.
She just looks at Xandria and is like, can you imagine during lambing season?
Sandra's like, lamb.
This working for a living does not compute.
Working them hips, aren't you, Ari? Well, you have the day, or at least it will feel like a day, so you can rest up and walk the glade or the forest. You don't have to travel in between realms anymore. Looks at Ari. Although you stomached it well, from what I hear. Akarian had good words about you.
It
My
varied.
clicking started again. Sorry, maybe.
It definitely varied. Didn't cope so well on my first trip in, but got used to it.
There are rooms where you may sleep outside and you will be comfortable. But take your time. As I say, you have the day.
Choose a half mile in each direction and put me in the middle of it.
North. Always
The
north.
centre of the glade. I can. No, that's the wrong card. I can give you.
Ruby sat there pulling cards out of the bag.
Well, scrolls and spells and
Beetles.
odds and sods and said, yeah, possibly another mouse. It's like, oh, Algernon, I didn't know you was in there.
Yeah. With a mohawk and a cigarette. Go to the same shop as Jeremiah.
All plants centered in all plants in a half-mile radius from where I stand. I can double. I can
Double
make
what?
them twice what they are.
Double their size, their growth speed, their...
If you cast this out of character, if you cast this spell over 8 hours, you enrich the land. All plants in a half-mile radius centered on a point within range become enriched for 1 year. The plants yield twice the normal amount of food when harvested, is what the spell card says. In terms of sapling trees, I assume it's just
Cool.
a significant boost in their growth
Yep.
and general health.
Please spend time around the ash and oak.
It would be useful to have a guard or a companion. I will need 8 uninterrupted hours. If I get distracted, either nothing will happen or I will turn this into a bramble thicket that no one can get through.
If it's to help the forest, I'll help you. I'll look after you. No one will get through. Gideon stands to attention and summons his short sword that now has autumn-coloured leaf, like filigree across the blade, and inked.
Oh, I'm picturing Sting now, that kind of leaf-shaped
Well,
blade, kind of.
It basically is Sting. But it don't glow when orcs are nearby. I need to get rid of this bloody clicker. Their bonnet's going to kill me. And we have to stand for 8
What if
hours?
I do it?
Yeah. 8 hours, you say?
You can take shifts.
I don't have to sleep or eat or breathe or drink. Perks have been dead.
Then yes, 8 hours. No one to
He looks at Toodles.
speak.
Toodles nods at him.
speak to me, look at me, sneeze near me, surprise me in any way. No distractions.
Oh, so you don't want me to do any of those? And he's putting on his chainmail.
Just make sure I'm not distracted.
Understood. And he finishes kitting up into the little mini Death Knight / Copper Lance fighter that he's suddenly decided to be, and be Campaign 7's big end boss. So
You're like 70-year-old Ruby shows up like, Gideon, you stop that!
Gideon then leaves to prepare his guarding of the tree.
And Ruby will head out to the tree and start preparing.
You see Caspian coming towards you. Like, you're kind of midway point as you're going towards the tree. Caspian's coming back. Hi, Cass.
Ruby.
Oh, sorry.
Good.
And he stands off to the side. But he
No,
remains
it's-
within about 10 feet of Ruby. Hand on sword.
My bodyguard,
Kess will just kind of be like darted between like Ruby
What
and
happened in
like,
there?
my bodyguard while I cast the enhancement spell on the glade.
Right. Okarian wanted me to give this to you, and he'll kind of hold out the staff from Old Oak. He
Ruby-
said you would understand what to do with it.
So Ruby, there's an awkward moment which she ends up kind of doing a swap and handing you the crook so she can take the staff. She goes, Oak was always Jimmy.
As you took hold of the staff, you instantly attune to it. There is no sitting down and meditating on the item to become attuned. You instantly attune to it. Your celestial nature is very, very obvious to yourself and Kesfion. You glow with a, not glow, but there is a, as if someone's backlighted you with a small light, not a, red carpet light. Your eyes go golden. For a moment, Kess, there is an outline of wings behind Ruby in almost golden glitter type. As it falls, you just see the pattern and then it dissipates, as if you threw sand on something invisible.
Yeah.
For the mechanic of it, Ruby, you are aware of all the properties of the staff, and if you are to go onto D&D Beyond or anywhere else on the internet and look up Staff of Healing,
Yep.
as all this is going on, there are memories flooding through your mind of a tall, strong, proud satyr playing tricks on the local fae of the forest when it was young, striding around, being cocky and boisterous, thinking they're basically Jack the lad of the yard, as it were. You're very aware, having met Akarin in a younger state in the realm of echoes, who it is. And it rushes by, and you see a romance blossom with a Shaldria in their younger days, and then you see the night that Okarian stares out at the moon, a tear rolling down his cheek as the Shaldria's had to leave. Again, you don't get all these details, you just get these memories flooding through you as fast as you can, and it rushes and rushes right up until having a meeting in a town with humans and a sapphire dragon attacking the town. A return to the forest, the bloodshed in the forest. You're obviously kind of having these, again, like flickbook moments. You see these blood pillars absorbing the essence of the fae going into the blood pillar. You feel the pain, the anguish, the anger. You then feel the renewed love when he meets the Shaldria in the realm of echoes. There's a weird moment where you see yourselves through the eyes of Old Oak, right down to the last moment where him and the Shaldria do what they're meant to do and be the first seed of the Copper Forest. And there is a peace that settles over you. The aura diminishes, the glow of your eyes goes, the wings have disappeared, and you're kind of just, and it all happens in a heartbeat. That click was deliberate, Mebonics.
So, outwardly, there's like a long blink, and the eyes change back to normal, and out loud all she said is, It's funny, Oak was always Jimmy. I was always more Hawthorne.
And then Gideon goes, whoa. I didn't know you could do that.
I only found out a couple of days ago.
You sure you need my protection?
As I said, if I get distracted, I won't be able to enhance the glade properly. And I'm very easily distracted.
Understood. And then he writes himself again.
Thank you, Cass.
Was merely the messenger. And he'll kind of scurry her back off inside.
As you get to the tree, Ruby, you see an ethereal Logarian sat on a stump staring at the tree. Not made any movement or gesture that he's seen you. He's just sat there staring at the tree.
Ruby will sit cross-legged on the ground across the tree from him. She will nod because she's in his eye line, but she will start preparing the spell, like taking out the odds and, you know, it's the odd little things that look like rubbish that are spell components, like acorn casings that she crushes and like
Ground up rats and stuff. That kind of stuff.
yeah, like mouse bones and a feather of this and
Eye of Newt.
a handful of dirt and a pinch of salt and all the other, you know.
And a 350 gold diamond. Okay.
The size of her face. Yeah, basically just start.
She's had it the entire campaign.
Damn you,
Grinding.
Realm of Echoes! Sorry.
Just in general, start preparing the spell when it's like.
Is it an
spring.
8-hour cast?
It is an 8. Right, let me find. Casting time, 1 action or 8 hours, depending on which.
Oh,
you
so you're
choose to
doing it
do.
as a ritual. Okay, so it doesn't.
So-
Yeah, okay. So this doesn't take up a spell slot, just so you know.
Oh, okay.
So if you cast it as an action, it costs you your spell slot. If you cast
Yep.
it as a ritual, which this is able to do so, it doesn't take
Yep.
up a spell slot. It just takes you 8 hours to do.
Yeah.
So,
So
yeah.
that's.
So if for some reason you're attacked, you've still got that spell slot. If Gideon just goes nuts, you've got a spell slot. But yeah, so it will take you 8 hours, an 8-hour ritual.
Yeah.
Okarin does not interrupt. He simply nods and smiles when you nod at him and continues staring at his tree. Guess. And Gideon takes up a little patrol and just starts walking around the tree. And any of the Fae or the humans that come nowhere near the tree, but if they move in any direction towards it, he's hand up, sword out, pointing at them, telling them to shift on. He's taking his job very seriously.
Good
Kesfion,
lad.
Kesfion enters cabin in the woods. The Jesuit stands. I'm going for a walk. You'll be able to find me whenever you please. Simply want to speak to me, and you will know where I am. But we have a lot to do, and I wish to take advantage of your friend's magic. And kind of nods out the window towards Ruby. Again, if you wish to find me, just will it, and I will know. Enjoy the cabin. Again, you have a day. Please take it. Whoa! Scared the living monkey out of me. Need to turn them alerts down. Woo! Thank you, SX1V or IV 15
Good job you weren't doing the
S15.
ritual cast.
Oh, my apologies, Master Heavy. My tardiness is about to fall. Aaron Longridge. No worries.
I mean, those pesky bards.
Yeah. So, Toodles / Jesuit, Archfey of Autumn. We'll leave you in the cabin. There's the 3 of you. There is spiced tea. There is still the scrying cauldron, by the way. I forgot about that, but there's still a scrying cauldron in there. And the 3 of you are in there on your own.
So there's sort of a memory of Old Oak out there. But you might not be able to get anywhere near him. Young, got the area on lockdown for Ruby.
Did he have anything important to say? Or is it the usual Olkarian gibber?
Yes and no. He was glad to hear you were back with us.
Oh, good.
He made fun of Ari.
Also good.
Apparently it was him that first told Kalain to go find us. And he said that we achieved what he wanted us to. Don't quite rightly know what that is, but...
Oh well, getting a straight answer out of Olkarion is like squeezing water from a stone, so...
It's in our nature.
Forever a mystery.
Come on, kids.
Interrupting, jeez, dramatic effect. Did his talk help you clear your head any further?
Barely.
Yeah. Thought as much.
I
dare say he probably made it worse.
Not worse.
Oh.
There was definitely food for thought there, but I feel I'll kind of have a glance out to kind of the rebuilding going on outside and getting sort of doing his little almost like traffic police person, like, you can come through, you can stop, right?
Very accurate.
Go.
Kind of doing his bit. But I have a feeling that possibly with this path that the Jesuit foresees for the forest, that I might not be the best fit. Old Oak said that it was not about forgiveness. But you and I both know, Drea, that it's not something that I can let go of.
No. And similarly, I cannot either. Genocide is still genocide.
I would see all of Ravenholm burn for what they did. And I can't even say, Ari, that I'm sorry that you would hear that.
But it was never right. It was never right.
That is not how this forest needs to regrow. And I would fight on the front line for the forest, but I cannot do it for the people of Ravenholm right now. And that's not what this place needs. And I think Toodles knows that.
So, what do you want to do, Kess?
I want to make sure that Corbin doesn't get away with this.
There's quite a few people that feel that way.
Once he's gone, I could not care less about this place.
And that's what we do then. We'll deal with Corbin.
We remove him from the equation. And then what?
There was... Rise Harton asked to speak to me alone.
Of course it did.
They were fucking awful. But they proposed the same thing. They wanted us to help. I don't know. I got so annoyed. I just.
Garina said
refused
similar.
them. Garina's at least amenable.
They want rid of Corbin. I don't
So
care
do-
what they want, but he will suffer. And there will not be enough left of him for them to put him together when I'm done.
Ruby said similar. She just didn't understand that I was trying to deal with it in the way that these people will understand best.
They ridiculed her. She holds more power in her little finger than any of them in that room will ever come to comprehend.
Yep.
You at least dress the way that they know how to understand. They were cruel.
You're right. Just this big political meeting, this whole thing, it's just absolute bullshit. And it's the reason why I walked away from this place, but I found myself falling back into it. But only to a certain point.
You have a skill that few of us do. And that's nothing to be ashamed of.
Kess is gonna point. We might not have gotten to where we are now without you, Harry. Though I am loath to say it.
What did you do with the real Ansandra, eh?
She died.
I want to talk about it.
Before we move on to talk about anything else, it's 9:30. So do we want to
Bio
go?
break.
Yay,
So,
bio break.
Let's go grab a cup of tea and stuff and have a bio break, and then we'll come back and see where this deep
bunch of
poetic roleplay is going. Cool. Right, thank you for joining us so far. Thank you for the follows and the subscriptions, very much appreciated. During that, you got 199 bits. I won't be that bastard. I'll give you a re-roll for 199.
Hey.
But,
That's very, very generous.
lucky.
of
So
You're lucky.
generous.
I'm also taking one. So we'll be back in a sec. During the break, in fact, we're going to go to a break now, and I'll explain. Right, we're on a break. You can't hear them, but you can hear me. As you can see in the middle, you can see this lovely cover art with all the characters on there. It's super beautiful. You should go check out Coyote Grey on Roll20. Absolutely amazing. And we've got chibi tokens. There will be a link in chat. Boom! There you go. We'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes, guys. So please stick around and follow us in the second part. And go tell your mates. Right, we'll see you in a bit. Bye. Hello, welcome back. Right, second part. Welcome to Heavyweight Gaming. If you're new, great, stick around, we play D&D. If you're not new and you've been around for ages, good, you should be. You should die hard, loyal fans. Yeah, right, just before, they're in the Glade of Copper. They're at the cabin in the woods that belongs to the Jesuit, the Archfey of Autumn. These lot are deciding their next step-ish, sort of, maybe, possibly. Join them in their roleplay of Doom. 3, 2, 1, go. In the cabin, there is Aristotle, Xandria, and Kesfion. You are in the cabin by yourselves. Ruby is continuing her super duper druid spell. Gideon is putting white gloves on and stopping traffic. And the Jesuit is off for a wander. And that tea is fucking red hot. Sorry, carry on.
He is red hot, guys.
Burrito.
If that's the plan, then for just now, I'll give you to yeah, I will just kind of like do the brother back on out the room. Like,
These are the eyes. Kess is getting just.
I mean, I feel like Ari's also kind of doing the same eyes to Cass, being like, no.
Sapphire walks in. Hello!
Oh my god, Sapphire! Words that never come out of Xandria's mouth.
you two need to talk.
Do we?
He will look between them with the kind of look of, and I'm supposed to be the dumb one? Yeah. You both need to unpack some shit, and that's coming from me. So I'm gonna
No, Kess,
talk
I
to
don't
Toodles,
need
and
to unpack any shit.
You super
Don't
do,
you-
and
don't
he's
you-
just gonna
Don't
like.
you, Kess, Kess, don't get your ass back.
And the door closes behind him.
Well, I don't know what Kestrion is on about. As far as I'm aware, there is no. Yeah.
Just go go by Luke's face and the fact that Caspian is now on mute, Cass, like you just see the tips of some ears above the window still at the kitchen thing.
You see several
Eat
tips of
popcorn
ears
over
just all next to you.
I'll just kind of like frown at the door and just be like, he's probably right. He's probably right.
Well, I certainly have nothing to unpack towards you, so... I know you're pulling that face. I dislike that face. I mean, I dislike most of your face most of the time, but I definitely dislike the face you were pulling right this moment.
There's a lot going on. And
yes, you are correct. A lot has indeed gone on. Well done, Ari. Thank you for being in the moment. Just spit it out. What is it?
you know I don't like this kind of crap. Liz looking everywhere but at Zandria.
Come on, out with it.
There's a couple of things.
Oh, gosh. You mean there's more than one? Why?
Because swords are dicks.
Oh no, not the sword. No, what has the talking cat done now? I was hoping I'd never have to hear about the talking cat ever again, to be honest.
Funnily enough, they've done nothing. Unfortunately. You know, kind of pull the sword out enough, but like not completely unsheath it, but like to show her the 3 gems that are like glowing on the hilt of the sword. So you know one of those is Ulrich.
Mm-hmm.
Might have got tricked into the second one. And then the third one just happened.
Right. So who's the one that just happened?
Well, the sword took it as apparently that's sort of my wish was to have Weisharten as one of them. They were fucking annoying.
Yes, I can at least agree with you on that point. They are indeed fucking annoying.
The other one I got tricked into.
Mm-hmm.
I had to name somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't meant that way, but they ended up tricking me into naming you. So for God's sake, if I ever get fucking charmed again by something else, just take me out. Seriously, just take me out.
So let me get this straight. You were tricked into naming a gem in your sword after me.
It's a promise.
A promise?
That's the way I understand it.
Promise of what?
You know how I named Ulrich as... It's a promise to the sword, for the sword. I don't really understand. But... Just don't let me hit you with the sword.
So you have, what, betrothed me to your sword in some weird ritual?
No, it wasn't a ritual. That's how I did Ulrich's thing, but the others just happened. I got tricked into it by the fucking asshole.
Right, okay. So, what, you hit me with your sword and I die?
Don't know. But I think it makes it easier.
Harry, give me
Which
a
is why-
charisma saving throw.
Oh, we're about to find out.
You do have 2 rerolls.
I got 16. I'm
16.
going to stick with 16.
Hang fire. It's been a while.
Oh, shit.
Okay. Just being in the presence of Xandria talking about it and repeating it more, and the stone and the promise and the sword and Xandria's name and etc. You feel a build and a tension and a when you were called, when your name were called to fight in competition or in sparring or whatever, and you get that little adrenaline kick of right, get ready, and you sort of get yourself ready. You can feel that sort of rising in you of that your body readying itself for action, as it were. It sounds dramatic. However, you do not act on it. That, unless you so wish, but you don't have to act on it. Fuck it! But you don't have to act on it. But you do feel it. And the sword feels very comfortable in your hand, and you twist and tighten your grip fighting against it. Hopefully, assuming.
Stabbing someone is easier than talking about your feelings.
100%.
Good for him. He'll kind of like really quickly put it back in, like fully back into the sheath, and just be like, it's trying its best. Really is.
Xandria walks straight up to Ari and then keeps walking like towards Ari, making Ari step back until eventually, I don't know, Ari hits a wall or a door or something.
You do indeed hit the wall.
Do it then.
Can't.
Why not? I'm telling you to do it, Ari. Give the sword what it's promised.
Give me a charisma saving throw, Harry.
Oh, that one I am re-rolling. I'm not rolling that dice. $15.
You do have a second reroll if you wish.
Yes. I don't trust 15. Let me read that fucking thing. Oh, okay. It's because I rolled on the gold dice and they're numbered in gold and I can't see it.
Give me a number, Harry.
17.
With Xandria being in this close proximity and
Jesus.
encouraging it, the resisting it is harder. And your hand is on the handle, maybe a centimetre pulled from its sheath. You're trembling, your adrenaline is spiking. You do not have to act on it if you do not wish. You have resisted the pull at the moment, but it does feel harder to resist as this scenario escalates.
Please no.
Xandria will take a slight step back, but still fairly close. There's one
I'm gonna,
thing
like,
I'm learning.
Try and move out of the way.
There's one thing I'm learning about you people of Ravenholm, is that you keep making promises. Promises and promises and promises to pay up. But debts are never paid. I do not want to see you make a promise and not pay that debt. Because I have a feeling that if you don't, Ari, something terrible will happen. And I'd rather you kept the sword's promise than see something terrible happen to you. I might wish ill fate on Ravenholm in hopes that the debt that your past king made is claimed. But I don't want to see your debts go unclaimed. I made a promise to the Jesuit, to Culane, to protect the Copper Forest, and I failed that. And whilst the Jesuit and Okarion might say otherwise, I still feel like I have failed and a punishment is deserved. The only reason I came back, the only reason I took a chance at life again, is because I thought I could still carry out that promise. But I don't think that is it anymore. The only thing tying me to the mortal plane is my brother and you. And I will do everything in my power to ensure that nothing bad happens to either of you. So if that means ending my life to fulfill that promise on your sword, then I will gladly die by your blade.
Charisma saving throw, Harry.
And you have no more rerolls.
Nat 20! Nat 20!
For a
Fucking
total.
excitement.
A total of.
I was just about to say, I swear to
23.
God, if I have to interrupt my ritual to go and get another tennis ball sized diamond, someone's getting a slap.
Harry, the sword comes clear of its sheath. And you hold it. The short distance between yourself and Xandria from backing off and you moving away. There is space to hold it point first at Xandria. Xandria, clear as day, can see your arm shaking. You can't control it. There is a very, very aggressive urge building through you. Almost a hatred of Xandria and a will and a need to take her soul and obliterate it. Send it to a void and oblivion, never to be resurrected again. However, you are strong in the ways of charisma. According to your stats. So you are able to resist it if you so wish.
You
Xandria's sunstone is radiant.
He'll like, put it fully away and take his hands off it completely and just be like, it's strong.
Going to continue being like this, Harry. For as long as I remain unclaimed by that sword, this is how it is going to be. This is how it's going to react around me. Our interactions, they will always end up like this.
I can't trust it with anybody else. When you died, I blame myself. because I hadn't acted on it. And I hadn't done anything about it, but I hadn't talked to you about it. And that's not fair to you. I need to try and be more honest. Try and face my responsibilities. But it's not having you.
Well then, I hope you are ready for a roller coaster of a time. We'll find a way. And then once again, Xandria moves back into Ari's vicinity and very slowly puts a hand on his cheek. And then no, very slowly hand
1
on
point
the
of
cheek.
damage.
Yep, and brings their faces close. My life will always belong to you and to Kess. Nothing will change that. And then she closes the gap and kisses Ari. Oh, fuck off.
I ain't got any romantic music. So while you two fade to black, guess film. Assuming Harry kisses back. I don't know last time you went and kissed somebody else.
He's trying to be good.
Runs out, kisses old oaks, ghost.
yeah.
Gets taken out by Geddon.
So while you
Or
two
the
are...
tree.
Alright.
My hot water bottle, I just called in hot water and then it's split.
You alright? Yeah. Right, cool. I've done my husbandly duties. Move on. Playing Dungeons and Dragons. So, she hates me, but we've got kids. Outside, Kess, you've left Ari and Xandria to whatever it is they're going to do. And you go out, and I'm assuming you're thinking of the Jesuit. Or not. You can't see them.
Yeah, like, I think he's probably figuring that whatever talk / probably bloodshed is probably going to go down in the heart. He's like, probably it's going to take a minute. So he'll probably, like, have a look over, see how, like, from a distance, obviously, how Ruby's doing, and just kind of watch over for a bit. Like 10, 15, make sure there's
Ruby
no,
looks a little bit tranced. Like, she's speaking Common, Elven, Sylvan, Halfling, Celestial, if you know it. But there are languages that she's changing in between.
But
and
basically just keeping a wee ear out just to make sure that there's no sound of, like, furniture getting smashed against, like, walls and stuff, and be like, yeah, okay, cool, I'll head off to see the Jesuit. Just be like,
yeah.
Okay, we should be fine. The initial explosion would have cleared by this point. But yeah, having a think of the begging.
So as you're walking around and thinking of Toodles, you see several humans dressed not dissimilar to yourself, or maybe to Gideon, you know, mixed between leather armour and chain. They all sporting a tabard that is of a copper colour in the entirety of the tabard, and a silver lance symbology on the front. You see a couple of satyr dressed as they would be dressed of the autumn forest, also with a tabard on with the silver lance upon it. Some sprites and pixies, a couple of darklings that are again similarly dressed for protective services. And they are interacting with one another And every now and then they'll come towards Gideon, and if they're in a tabard, Gideon will interact with them, and it's as if they're approaching him for not orders, but an instruction of sorts, and they're listening and nodding, and then they go about their business out back away from the glade, and then Gideon continues doing his traffic police act. As you think of Toodles and the Jesuit, you notice out of your periphery as you turn, and you can see the 7-foot satyr that is Toodles walking through her newly created autumn glade, or continuing to be created. She's simply off out the way of folk, no one near her, just allowing crunching leaves. You are fully aware that beyond the glade, winter is settling in, and the forest and the ground is hard, and the trees are losing leaves, etc. But right now, in this immediate vicinity, it still has the crunchy red and browns and oranges beneath her feet. And she is aware that you are wanting her attention, and she just pauses and just waves you towards her.
He'll approach.
Kesfiel?
Jesuit. I've thought on what you said. I don't think I'm what the forest needs right now. And I think you're well aware of it.
I was scared of it, rather than aware of it, Kesfiel. I have to say that I spun a lie, or a story, to Ari, hoping that they tell you that you weren't right for the role, and maybe talk you out of it, but you are perhaps perfect for the role, maybe too perfect. The Landslord is not something the Jesuit decides. The forest decides. The wielder decides. Kalain decides. I cannot ask you to put it down or walk away from it. I cannot command you to do so.
There is a direction that you wish to take the forest in. And I agree with it. I think that at this time for the forest, it is what is best. It's part of Ravenholm now, as much as our people have ever been part of a mostly human nation before.
For a while, but winter will pass. Spring will have time here, and so will summer.
And you need that sense of unity that you're fostering here, and it kind of gestures back to how to sort of the clearing where there's
The mixing.
yeah. I would go where you ordered me, but I have no room in my heart for the people of Ravenholm. I would fight for the Copper Forest, but I cannot in myself find conscience to fight for them. And to stand here and try and uphold this position. I would not be leading the way you needed me to. I know you don't forgive, and I know you won't forget what was done here, but it's not within me to not see that every day, and I cannot make nice with them. I can't even try right now.
That is your choice, but I don't have a choice. If I don't make nice, there is no copper forest. Winter will bring a reckoning that I cannot. As you've already said, I won't forgive and I won't forget. But my job and duty is autumn, and to make sure that the copper forest does return to the fair realm and is grown again. These humans that are helping now, they will die and pass. Generations, their families, their great-grandchildren, if they have any, they'll pass as well. I still won't forget, and I still won't forgive. It is their time to fear winter, but there will come a time again when they also fear the fall of autumn. You have that choice, and I believe whatever you choose will be beneficial to the copper forest, whether you stay here and wield lance, or whether you pass it on and wield those wonderful blades at your side elsewhere. My reasonings for telling Ari, or hoping to persuade Ari to persuade you not to, is I fear ending your story before it is flourished. You have a coldness of winter about you. Not in a... There is a coldness about you sometimes, Kess, but there is also a fire that I see and I hear of when you fight. Akarian speaks highly of it. Where your blades go, there is a chance of life, and therefore spring. You wielded the lance of copper. I do not know your past, Kesfield. I only know your present. And it fills me with hope. If I was given the choice to make for you, then I would not have you as my lance lord. For selfish reasons. For I am a tavern dweller. I sit by fires and listen to stories until my story ended with me, or started again with me being a Jesuit. I'd wish the same for you. If you are the Landlord of Autumn, that is your story done. There is no new path. You are the Landlord. If you put the lance aside and go about other steps, other stories, other chapters, there is more and more of Kesfi on Summerbreeze that I'd wish to hear about. And the fire that your sister brings with her. It is these stories that will keep me sane whilst I make nice, as you put it.
I do not envy you your responsibility. And I understand the call of duty that you must feel, perhaps more acutely than most. I feel I could easily step and continue to hold the lance. But I do not think it is my path at this time. And I do not think it is what is best for the forest.
She nods.
I do not know how I go about relinquishing this.
She holds out a hand.
He will kind of unattach the lance and pass it across.
The leaves bustle up around you both and kind of swirl up in the air just as you pass the lance. There is a very obvious vacant spot, like you feel that it is no longer there on your back. Toodles just holds the lance, rests it down at the side, almost like a walking staff. Do you choose another, or shall I?
I would not choose another. I would not presume to know, but I would suggest that there is something to young Geddon that will go far.
He is outside both our worlds. By both our worlds, I mean our world and his. No longer human, no, not fair. I will care for him. And we shall see if he's... Worthy is the wrong word, but if the lance chooses him, so be it.
He holds promise, and in these times, I believe, stranger has happened, but he is... That boy has survived since we touched base on Ravenholm, and he has come far in a short amount of time. If you want a story to follow, then you should really keep a close eye on his.
She leans in a bit closer, as if looks around, see if anyone's listening. I wonder what Whisper would say. And just kind of smiles and stands back up, toying with the idea.
I imagine they would be intrigued by that young soul.
There is a chest in the cabin. For each of you a gift. When you lift the lid, your gift will be presented. Yours is from a Shaldria. She wished them to remain in good hands, is all I can say. But please make sure your sister and friends take the gifts. Okarian would haunt me for the rest of my days.
I shall.
So what now? Casfion Summer Breeze? Free to do as you wish, no longer bound?
There's still work remaining to be done. I promised I would remove the person that brought the blood columns to this forest, and that I shall.
Well, as I said, I can send you anywhere in the world if you wish, and bring you back if you wish.
First, I must go see that Ari and Zandria have not murdered each other.
I would give them a bit longer.
I shall.
And the lance just kind of dissipates into etherealness and vanishes. I'm going to continue my walk, Kess, but please, if you wish more of my time, just call.
Enjoy.
And off she goes. Ari and Zandria, are you finished?
It was literally just a kiss, not a bloody main obsession followed by sexy times.
It's not how I'm going to write it, alright? So that's just what you're going to have to get over with. The fanfic on this. It's going to make me...
Yeah, in the eventual novelisation.
Yeah. So, as the red light goes off, you... Sitting in the cabin, your conversation's past. Ari, this... After the kiss, the settling of the sword's call for Zandria's soul is incredibly diminished. You have fought it off 3 times now, and are fully confident that its pull will be vacant from yourself for several hours more. When you look out the window, Ari, you see a door in the forest with a lantern outside it. And I've forgotten the name of the pub. What an absolute rookie.
I don't remember either. Got it written in a book somewhere.
A book.
A book.
many
About
books.
3 of them.
Yeah.
Volume 2 it'll be in, I imagine.
It might be in volume 1 actually. It was early days.
I think it's the Timeless Vagabond. There you go.
I knew I was trying to say Vagrant, but I was like, no, that's not.
No, that's the other one.
I thought it was the Wandering Vagabond. No, you see the tavern wooden sign hanging in front of the door with no building, saying the Timeless Vagabond on the sign.
I'll kind of look at it outside and just be like, there might be some answers through that door.
You can't see a thing, Zandria.
Zandria just puts a hand on Ari's forehead.
You alright? The spice day getting to you?
Are you alright, Ari? I know we just had a really intense conversation, but I didn't think that I kissed you hard enough that you actually started going insane.
Got some skills.
Yeah, it's fucking weird, but I need to get answers. I can't do that again.
Yep. Just do whatever crazy shit you need to do, alright? We've already got Sapphire outside hovering, so what's one more crazy thing to add to the group? Besides, I've stared at your face long enough and it's...
I'm so glad you're back. Maybe I'll walk out the door.
So you've walked out the door, yeah?
Yep.
There he goes again.
Cool. Are you off to the door?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, cool. As you approach the door, you notice again the glade with the people doing the garden and working around, and you see these tabards with the silver lance on them talking to Gideon, and you see Ruby doing her many languages chant and walking around the tree. And you notice that there's quite a lot of movement on the ground around the tree, akin to if like squirrels and stuff were running through the brush, but it's not very high, so you can't see any creatures. And you see far off to your left, Kesfion and the Jesuit wandering and just having a conversation. As you get to the door, you open the door, and I change the music. Hopefully.
Quick out of character question, because I genuinely can't remember. Last time we went through here, was it when the one that was the C one was chatting away to me?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Her name is Eleanor.
Yes, that's the one.
Eleanor Sykes, the untamable heart, who had a cutlass. This time, when you walk in to the Timeless Vagabond, it is, again, no one in there, but you hear the sounds of a tavern. There is music playing, there are people, the sounds of people singing, clanking drinks, it's quite nostalgic, to be fair. You're rocking. It's been a while since you've enjoyed this sort of carefree atmosphere, but it's empty. You see all the works of art on the different walls with their plaques underneath. At the bar, with a huge tankard, like, even for this Goliath, this tankard is oversized, it's unnecessary. You could probably fit about 6 pints in it. And he just stands there. Tall, long, dark hair that kind of shimmers like nightshade blue every time the candlelight hits it. Their hair's down past their shoulders to their back. They are, for a Goliath, leaner than some of the Goliaths you've seen, like Nala being a bit of a monstrosity. This Goliath is dressed in a well-cut, sort of like long jacket that drapes down to the ankles. Very Van Helsing-y. Got that bit with the shoulders where they point out. There's leather padding across the front of it. It's got blues and golds all down the front of it. They've got a big, I don't know what it's called, but like the fluffy shirt, you know what I mean? It sort of waves. I'm looking at Luke here. Coming out the top, there's a bit of hair on the chest. They've got sideburners that come down, a bit mutton choppy down the front, and they're stood there, and it V's does this jacket to accent their shape. At their hip is a bronze longsword, not in a sheath, just in a hoop, so people can see that the bronze longsword is mastercrafted, and you can see 9 white gemstones on the guard of this longsword. On the bar, again, no one's serving drinks or anything. Next to the tankard, you can see a lyre, or lyre, however you pronounce it, a flute, lyre, whatever, a guitar. You can see a flute, and then on their back is another lyre, lowy.
Liar.
Instrument.
There's a drum.
Who is the past tense?
There's a drum on his back. Aha! You must be Aristotle. Welcome to the Timeless Vagabond. Again. And just does this long flourished bow, and you see the boots high topped with the thick cuff around the boots.
Aye.
Well, that was unexpected. Drink?
He's just not trusting anything right now. Really, really isn't. And he's just like...
The door's obviously closed behind you.
Yes, if there's no thing to it.
Ale? Do you like ale?
Ale's always good.
Clicks his fingers and boom, another 6-pint tankard just appears.
Big as Harry's head.
Yeah. This Goliath must be 6, 10, 11, pushing 7 feet. Just pushes it towards you. Have you approached the bar? As big as that.
Yeah.
Picks you up. Cheers!
Cheers.
Clashes into your tankard just hard enough to spill some of the ale and just starts necking some of his before putting it back down, wiping his mouth. Vargan's the name. Holds his hand out.
What was his name?
Vargan.
Do I recognise him from the portraits?
You do indeed.
Yep. I think he'll probably relax a little bit.
This is Songbird, and he taps the sword. And that beautiful rapier, I believe, is Eagle's Promise.
It is.
Aptly named. Eleanor said you were an eagle yourself. Takes another drink.
To a certain degree. Just a little.
You look like
unsure,
someone's just
yeah.
shit on your day, Aristotle. How can we brighten it up? You want a different song? And he claps. And they start playing a different tune, despite what Syrinscape says.
It's almost like Eagle's Promise has been fighting me for the last 5 minutes or so to try and kill somebody.
Promised the soul, did we?
Not without actually meaning to.
Ah, the swords don't care.
So what happened to the soul that you promised to your sword?
It was taken, as were the other 8. Only one to go. Alas, it is a soul I shall not take. And he kind of stares off in a very Shakespearean sort of towards the lantern light and the upper ceiling. I love this song, and he kind of just steps around you dancing.
Let me get a straight answer at these people.
Do you say that out loud? Then ask a straight question. And spins.
How do I go against the sword's wishes?
It's not the sword's wishes you need to go against. It's the promise of the sword. The sword doesn't care who the sword belongs to. You promised it, the sword will take it. You can give the sword to somebody else, but I wouldn't advise it. But the sword is still promised the soul. And he jumps onto a table and starts doing a bit of a tap dance. The table's not happy with the weight of this Goliath. He spins and pulls out Songbird, the longsword, and stands in a stance that you've seen Nikolai do 1,000 times. Dance with me, Eagle. Let us see Eagle's Promise in action. And he waves his hand and the tables and chairs just go and scoot aside. And he stamps his foot and the music comes a bit more beat. For as long as you dance, I will answer your questions. Deal?
Kind of look at it and just be like, no funny business, as he pulls it out.
You bring out the sword and you face off against Vargan. He drains his drink, slams it back on the table. Another barman! Nobody there. And the tankard fills with ale. Roll initiative.
Oh no! That one!
For a total of?
10!
Oh shit, I'll go first. He lunges forward, and you parry it. Ting! First question to you.
Hang on, I'm just checking it wasn't that one. Actually, it was a 7, but you know.
Okay. Mine was slightly higher. So as you parry the blow, he offers you to ask a question. What do you ask? If you want.
Oh god, I'm gonna think of something. You said you promised a soul, but you'll never give it. How can you resist it?
I can't. I'm just never around her. And he spins, and your turn to attack.
You just want me to roll an attack?
Yep. Unless you deliberately miss.
I mean, he's not gonna deliberately miss, not with a 17. Plus... Okay, 27 to hit. Flipping heck.
As you riposte off his strike, you pierce the leather jacket just on his shoulder and you just nick the skin. Don't worry about damage. As you nick the skin, he takes a swig of the ale and you see the jacket and the wound beneath mend. A question for me. Who's the stone for? And he steps close to you, so your guards of your swords are really close together, and he's looking down. I want name.
Why?
And there's a second question.
Can't give you their name. Last time I did that, I promised them, and I can't.
Spins back and holds the sword towards you. Now you're learning, Eagle. Now you're learning. Guard your heart, Eagle. Souls are a fickle thing. And spins in to attack you again. With the flat of the blade, taps you on the toe and comes back. There is no need for bloodshed. And just kind of looks at his shoulder. He stops and just puts the point of the sword in the wood. He claps again and the music just goes back to casual tavern entertainer music. Do you love them?
I think I do.
The Vagabonds are a tale of tragedy. Those that wield the swords, we've experienced great tragedy. And he spins and he kind of gestures towards his painting that kind of shimmers, and it's as if he's wiped wet paint and the vision of himself gets smudged and then reforms of him and the Lady Goliath in the mountains, just staring out at clouds and sky. You were tricked. I did it deliberately. And you see the image change again. And he's stood in a cave. And there is some creature beyond his eye line. But there is someone in the shadows of the creature, and you can see the glowing blue eyes in the paintwork, in the art. I thought it was romantic. Promising a soul to a stone. And he looks down at the stone, and it's a beautiful white stone. Turns out, I tricked myself. I fought 8 other folks, took their souls to feed the sword. In hope, and he's gesturing this in the painting, and you can see him in battle with orcs and goblins and halflings and humans and a dragon. And he kind of washes it away, and the dragon takes form of a wyvern. I took all their souls, and the sword was not fed. And he holds it up, stares at the stone, and he presses it to his forehead and then his chest. I'm cursed with eternal life, as is she, for the sword will keep her alive until it's claimed her soul. And he sort of mocks tears. But I swear, and he leaps onto the bar, that while I draw breath and Songbird is at my side, her soul will remain free, and I will make sure of it. And clapping starts happening all around him that you see from nowhere. And he jumps back down. Starts drinking more of his ale. To be a vagabond is to live in tragedy, young eagle. Aristotle Rycroft of the Ivory Wall. And again, you're looking around, who the fuck is he gesturing at? Or release the blade. Walk away from the vagabonds. Allow another to take up Eagle's promise. But know this, and it goes quiet in the tavern. They may not carry the love for the soul that you do. and they may seek it. It is bittersweet, young Harry. But you may have to walk away from the thing you love to keep it alive. Or show it the most love. I'll need to rewrite that. I don't like that.
Thank you for your help.
Anytime. Bargain. Happy to be at your service. And there's a flourish of them.
You've
Sorry.
been of great
My
help.
apologies. And you are a fine dancer. Bit aggressive, but a fine dancer.
Sorry, not particularly in the mood today.
The Timeless Vagabond is here at all times for us. Visit when you need rest. Time does not pass while you're here.
I shall, thank you.
Are you going to leave? As you get to the door. One last piece of advice, dancer. The closer you are to them, the harder it is. The sword cares not for reasoning. They are cursed items from a time before us. And if you do find out a way, please tell me. And he looks across, and you see that the painting he's staring at is of him and her sat on a mountain, looking out at the sky and the clouds. More drink! And he turns his back on you and starts drinking more. And you leave, and you step back into the copper glade.
Yep.
You see Kess heading back towards the cabin, Kess?
Yep.
Or you, yep. And you see Kess has left conversation with the Jesuit and is heading back towards. You could intercept or let them walk past it. It's entirely up to you.
I won't walk past.
Guess you get back to the cabin. There's just Andrea in there. Completely confused at the hallucinating Harry. It's these doors now.
I've seen Ari, haven't I?
Yeah, Harry's there.
Yeah.
You don't
Okay,
have to go
cool.
back to the cabin if you don't want.
Oh no! I
Yeah.
just wanted to say, like, he's seen Ari on the way.
From what you saw, Harry went behind a tree and just came out the walked round the tree. No, like disappearing, reappearing.
It's just
Just Harry
going
walking
in circles
around.
around the tree.
Yeah. Sounds normal.
You
About
you
right.
know he's out there just going round the tree. How hard did you hit him?
I didn't hit him. He said something about a door and some answers, and then I just said, just go. What's one more weird thing happening in the copper forest?
True.
I think he just needed to clear his head after, I tried to get him to kill me.
What?
Yes, paid enough
I
for
am.
this.
I tried to get Ari to stab me with his rapier. That he has promised me to. Those stones in the rapier. One of them is me, apparently.
Okay.
That was my response.
And the other two are because there's three.
Well, I think you could probably guess who the first one is.
Have you met Kess?
The person who is
I was
literally
going to
being
say,
the
Kez has already been told this.
the person who has been
No,
being
you said that you like. Ari was very sort of hit
Oh, it
and
was
miss
very
about
vague,
what
as
that
per
actually
usual.
meant.
Yeah.
So now Kess has been like told, yes, Ari tried to stab me and I tried to encourage it, and what other names? And now, so Kess is like, what? So, what does it mean if he's promised you to the sword?
That the sword hungers for me until I am gone.
Okay.
Mhm.
Cool.
Mhm.
Brilliant, Ari. And
To give the poor boy some credit, he didn't do it intentionally like he did the other two. He was apparently tricked into giving my name, which I am partially also surprised because I thought we taught him better not to give names to
Yeah.
people, but apparently that lesson didn't stick. So.
Cool.
So now we have the issue of he will get the overwhelming urge to stab me with his rapier, with me just being in close proximity.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Great. So Toodles was saying there was stuff in a chest, and there's. Yeah, if you want to check in it, there's something in there for you. I will be right back. And he will turn round, walk out the door, go up to Ari where he's walking round a tree, and just like point blank just sock him in the side of the face.
Give me an attack roll.
A session without being punched.
With advantage, because Ari's probably
No way.
not expecting it. Well, Ari should expect it every day, to be fair. Somebody
Is there a
slapping
day
him
where
upside the
somebody
face.
does
Yeah.
decide to suck a punch, Aaron?
You left my mother. What?
I'm gonna guess it probably hits because that is a 24.
Cool. What's your strength?
Strength is 1 sec.
Mine.
Strength is 15, so
plus
plus
2.
2.
You take 3 points of bludgeoning damage to the side of the face, Ari, as Kesvion doesn't just give you a slap, literally socks you straight in the face. Fourth
It was
stone,
worth-
Harry? Fourth stone?
It was worth the point of damage that I took. And then, sort of shaking out his hand, he's just going to go back in and sit down at the fire.
Gideon looks at you. Everything alright?
Just keeps walking straight back in.
Harry, everything alright?
Just fine. Just dandy.
Okay. Just carries on doing his thing. Do you go
When-
back in the cabin? Oh, go on, Andrea.
I was gonna say when Kess comes back into the cabin, Andrea's just gonna look at Kess and go,
Why's everyone getting in?
just, what did you do?
Punched Ari.
Why did you punch Ari?
Because Ari needed punched.
Kesvion, brother dearest, if Ari needed to be punched, I would have punched him.
I wasn't punching him for you.
You were punching him for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It made me feel a lot better.
Why did you need to punch Ari?
Can I not have my own reasons for needing to punch Aristotle Rycroft?
Yes, I'm asking you for those reasons.
You've met him, right? I'm presuming.
Yes. Yes, I
Everyone
have.
else has been able. I am the only one in this party.
Did
who
you
had
just
not...
feel jealous? Is that it? Were you feeling
Oh,
left out because you
no.
hadn't punched Aristotle? Is that what it is?
No, I tried to have patience with him, and everyone else had gone, no, he needs a slap, he needs a hit, we need to. I was like, no. But this was the final straw, and I agree with you. It does make things easier.
To be fair on the poor boy, he has been better. I don't slap him because, you know, he's done something wrong.
I punched him because he's done some stuff wrong.
Poor Harry.
Oh.
I love you, Harry. Are you
Well, remember, you can't always copy your big sister.
We're still not sure which one of us is older. You know that, right?
It's me.
We'll
Most
allow that to
definitely me.
stand. Of
Most
course.
definitely me.
Did you check the chest?
No, I literally have not had a moment to check because you went out and came immediately back in. I didn't have a chance to look.
As you both look, there is a wooden chest, simply designed and made. No carvings upon it, no patterns, just a chest near the where all the covers were at the back. More obvious than it was. I think you'd probably put money on it not being there before. It's as if knowing about it makes it visible to those that do.
Andrea will just go up to the chest and
Pop the lid.
pop the lid, almost like you can just hear that Legend of Zelda music.
It's the Master Sword.
When you open, you get a rush of summer smells that remind you of the oasis back home. Sat on a pillow that seems to have been made by someone spending a lot of time crocheting is an amulet on a very thin piece of leather that seems to have been knotted and twisted to mimic that of a chain, but it is super thin and super intricate as the plaiting of this leather. The amulet itself is shaped in a leaf. It's got a rustic orange colour to it, and that's as complicated as it gets.
Sandra will take it out of the chest and
You instantly attune to it as you take it out of the chest.
Bum, bum, bum.
You feel the rush of the Fey copper forest when you pass through the realm from the material, and you get that instant presence of autumn, that acknowledgement that you stand shoulder to shoulder with the next season past summer. For the mechanic of it, you can go on D&D Beyond and add to yourself an Amulet of Health.
woohoo!
Zandria will like this.
You bloody well will. Manage inventory, add item. Wow. As Sandra picks it up and the rush of the feeling passes through, she then puts it around her neck and then kind of like holds it in her fingers and looks down and goes, "Oh, this is infinitely better than kissing Ari earlier."
At the feeling of both summer, yourself, and autumn, as they sort of mix in between each other with the gift and the memories and such, you hear or feel the word whispered in your mind, Tiri Kulai.
Collide. Let me find. Haha, there's my notes. How do you spell that?
T-R-R-I
T-R.
R dash, and then how have I spelled it? Let's have a look. C-U-L-I-Y. I'll try to spell it phonetically.
C-U-L.
I-Y.
I-Y.
Kalai. However you want to spell it, so you know, but that's how it's said.
Okay. Okay, yep.
It is a fair word, of which meaning you do not know.
Fantastic. Love that for me. Cool. Okay, thank you.
Lovely. Empty chest.
Empty chest.
Once Andrea has sort of moved away and closed it, Kess will check.
As you pop the lid, no seasonal rush. but a very obvious presence of the Fae, of ancient Fae, of a time you're not entirely convinced you've ever experienced, but laid on two pillows of a softer material, not quite the grand motherly crocheted pillow, but not quite silk, but it's got a soft, almost velvety touch to it. There are two wooden scimitars. You can see just with your keen eye that the edge is razor sharp of these two scimitars. And there are just small, I don't know the word, but a small piece of rope from both handles, both pommels of the scimitars, with a little tassel that just hangs down, both the colour of ash wood. As in the blades are ash wood, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. He will pick those up.
You pick them up and you are instantly attuned to them. These blades are wood from pommel to tip of blade, like they've been carved from a single piece. You swish them around, they cut, they feel perfectly balanced, perfectly light. The mechanics of these I will have to send you because they are homebrewed. However,
Cool.
you feel through your attunement to them, they are magical and not the mundane steel that you're used to wielding. You feel they would do extra damage against an enemy of your choice, and also allow you to move through the ethereal / fae realm in an instant jump. And I will send you the mechanics after.
Awesome.
But you essentially have +1 in each hand, Misty Step, and name an enemy and do extra damage.
Nice.
You have a Shaldria's Scimitars. Ari, are you going back in the cabin?
Yeah, eventually.
Cool. You eventually go back in the cabin and you see Kesfion with 4 scimitars.
It's just collecting them.
Yeah. Just all these weapons, you know. I kind of
Assuming you timed it, you will see Kesfion closing the lid of a chest.
Hi.
The Jesuit said that there would be something in the chest for each of us.
I was going to actually want to explain why he punched me, but I know he punched me. We'll walk over to the chest.
You open the chest and you hear the caw of an eagle, and then the laugh of a carrion. Just echoing in the back of your mind. You see a bag, a leather satchel bag, just kind of sat in the chest, tied with rope, and a ring next to it. Just empty chest. Empty bar these two items chest, just wooden chest. No pillows, no velvety soft material. Just a leather bag that sat. It appears to be empty. Just sat on the bottom of it, and a ring next to it. It's a very nice silver ring. Looks really well crafted. You've been around the place, you understand what fine jewellery looks like.
We'll pick both of them up.
Picking the bag up, you get the hairs on the back of your hand kind of tingle, that you are aware that it's got a magical property about it. But the ring you instantly attune to. The silver banding, you can see that in the centre of the silver banding there is what appears to be twisted bark. Going from the laugh of a carrion, you can assume that that bark is from an oak tree, and it goes through the centre of the silver band. The mechanic of it is a ring of mind shield.
Oh, we needed
But you know wisdom needs some of that.
The bag is a bag of holding.
Finally. Sacrilege.
Flashback to old campaign, my goodness. Jade. Thanks.
We're just missing Doot Doot Magic.
No, that'll be Harry, don't worry.
Toodles returns. Toodles returns to the cabin to see all three of you with your gifts. There is a broad smile on her face. She gestures back towards Ruby, seeing that she's, 23 minutes in. But yes. Well, I see you got your gifts. Makarian and Shaldry were very keen for you to receive them after they had gone, but I hope they are useful to you.
We're honoured.
Ruby is unlikely to find one in there, but I'd still have her check. Akarian's how would he put it? He's a bit of a bastard, so. But the staff Ruby wields may be gift enough. As for Sapphire, I do not know. But again, I'd have them check. Shaldry was quite fond of Sapphire. Rest. Oh, sorry. Go on, Kesfield.
No, it's fine. I wasn't going to add anything.
You have time to rest. Passing of the day will be not much for those of the human realm and the material realm. So please take your rest and take it long. But please sleep on decisions to be made. And please remember that if you do need to travel, whether for a short time or permanently, I can do so. Your bunks are here, and as she gestures, the cabin's longer. Just as you all look left where she's gesturing, you can see that the cabin is longer, and there's almost an annex just appeared out of nowhere. And you can see several bunks, all made out of like tree bark and roots that are kind of cushioning, and that very, very stereotypical druidic treehouse vibe where everything's grown for you, as in furniture-wise. And you can see 6 comfy cots. And we'll call it there.
Woo!
Woo! Well, yes! First stream done of the year. Thank Fudge for that.
Ruby's the only person that actually achieved anything.
Is in the process of achieving, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's on a timer.
There's still time for AD to decide that, like, Gideon sneezes or something and Ruby's spell just goes.
Yeah.
I don't think he would do that, bless his wee cotton socks.
Nah, you'll need Roll20 next week. What? So, thank you very much. Happy 2022. I didn't even know how to say that.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for the follows. Thanks for the subscriptions. Thanks for the bits. It's been absolutely great being back to it. I've missed DM and it's been ages. Christmas, Corona, etc. But we're back to it now, and we should be back every Tuesday unless something happens. We'll have beautiful Sapphire with us next week, hopefully, and they can find out what they did or didn't get in the box and what Senpai Steve said to them. So, yeah, we'll go from that. But yeah, take care of yourselves. It's been a pleasure. What are we on? I'll have to check, but we might have Carbon this Thursday. I'll check on the party. Look out for Dice of the Beholder on Sundays. Next Monday, we've got Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the starter box being streamed. A very good GM, a friend of mine called Matt, who's got his own YouTube channel. I forgot the name of it. Random Encounters. I'm going to have to check on that. But they're doing their own Pathfinder stuff. But he's going to DM the starter box for me on a Monday for a bunch of lunatics that like role-playing games. So if you want to learn Pathfinder, it's only going to be 2 or 3 sessions, but you'll learn a lot and you'll get to learn the game. And Pathfinder 2nd Edition is a really, really cool RPG, so please check it out. Also, D&D5e, amazing. And in February, I'm announcing it now. In February, there is going to be a new D&D5e campaign starting, set in the world of Colossus, and those poor little players are starting at level 1.
Oh, poor
Did you make him start level 1? That's just mean.
That's so mean.
They've got to earn that Bardic College. So yeah, look out for more announcements on that. Thank you very much. It's going to be great and amazing, and we love telling stories, and we love you guys popping in. So thank you very much for that. Take care of yourselves. For now, say goodbye, players.
Bye, players.
Bye-bye.